I always look for the hypnotic part of a track that sucks you in. Then, of course, if there's a story to it, with feelings and involvement and all this is a bonus, but first of all is the hypnotic thing.
For me to let the music be created and to listen to it is very similar. It is letting an experience of the music take place within you. If I'm playing on a synthesizer and I'm really there with every note, I kind of empower what I'm playing with presence. When you really experience it, you kind of give it life.
Using electronic music and synthesizers and drum machines is very perfect. Everything is straight, exactly, and super tight, and that's become very unhuman when you listen to it. So we always try to find ways to make it as human as possible. We've been searching for it for quite many years.
A few years ago we felt that it's time to make a new album. It should be a live album. During this time we also started to do more freestyle jams. Just any tempo and any key and more random in a way. And we started to feel that in these jams there were moments where we really got into this flow. And then we said, why should we do a live album like we do on stage? Let's instead just jam and see if we find these moments of really great flow. We were cutting out the good parts and somehow the album took form and it became Blomma. There are different phases in the workflow. We have first a phase of selecting. We choose a few samples, we prepare a melody or a drum pattern, and we create options with the equipment, the instruments, and we play around a little bit with them to get comfortable with them. And then we have decided the opportunities. In that phase, it can be very helpful to build a foundation to stand on and feel secure. That is a preparation phase, like creating this foundation. And for us, when we're together, we create it together.
Like we say, we want this feeling or that. Just sketches how we should do the jam. And while we decided these rules, then we'll get ready to be free and express. Then we take a break before we start with the expressing part. Both of us feel that it's good to clear all the thoughts, because in the choosing mode, when we build up the rules, you think a lot, a lot of head activity, choosing samples, doing this, doing that, and that tends to make me forget about the feeling. And if I would play directly after doing all this choosing, I would be more up in my head than down in my heart and feel. Keeping silent and try to not think about the track, think about something else, or just don't think at all.
Our new studio is surrounded by nature and forests and national parks. I feel in an urban situation there is much more wanting, there is much more producing and trying to reproduce and copy, and that triggered me. But to be in the nature and, for example, walking in the nature, being in the nature a whole day, and just clouds are there, trees are here, it's very simple. And that helps me to get into this simple state of being in creativity.
precis utanför trädet där. Det är en perfekt lagom stort att lägga en dyna, kudde, så ser man rakt ut i skogen uppifrån. Och sitta där, ja, det är...
I need a certain grounding and I need a certain strength to let myself be without caring of the different kind of judgment and energies coming towards me. And that's the same in the studio. When I let myself play right or wrong or bad or beautiful or sad or angry or whatever, I let it be. Then it's the flow is coming, or that is the flow, or whatever. So nature is a wonderful place for kind of charging the batteries of accepting myself.
We're always hunting for this part of us where it is empty, there's no thought, there's just now and feelings. The yoga is great, that brings a lot of energy in the body and you become more energetic. That can be opening up to be present, but in a different way, and talking and sharing really what you feel and what's going on now, that's another way. So there's many different tools to work your way into here and now.
Next phase is to express. We try to leave this phase of choosing, thinking, and then trust that what we know how will help me to get into a flow, and let's see what happens. A good thing when I make music with Marcus, we jam and we press record and we can just do it. Maybe it's bad or good or whatever, give it a go. And suddenly a creative flow together, and wow, great.
It's not easy sometimes, but we try to find this part where it's hypnotic and there's stuff going on, maybe there's a tweaking, changing, and there's a melody, small changes, and then that's enough, then you're in there. It's like for the listener on the dance floor, if you're playing the Roland 303, you're tweaking just a little bit, like slow tweaks using frequency or something. If you're dancing, you can really hear it because my human touch to it is on this sound. And if Sebastian is doing one more thing, that's enough to listen to for a long time. But many times when we start to jam, it becomes, oh, now we have to have a hi-hat. And the restlessness inside of me, okay, I do a little bit this, a little bit that. And try to follow all these movements everywhere, and I try to change. For the listener, it's going to be the same experience. They're going to get restless.
So when we play, it's more like we really try to not let things happen too much, but really be there with what is happening. That's enough. That will give so much life to the track. Then it's human.
A program that makes possible for us to become here and now, like yoga or meditation. Taking away all the thoughts and be present is very important. It's more or less the core of what we want to do. We have these sketches, loops that we play. We know that this bass drum and bass line and so on works together. These loops we made in the studio. We're sitting there with the drum machines and everything and record it and put it in as samples in Ableton. And after many years of collecting all these samples and put it into keys and tempo, there's a huge library of loads of bass lines. I can choose a loop in G, and maybe I didn't like this bass line or I want to try something else. Just drag from the sampling archive and try another one. And suddenly, whoa, what's this? Okay, not thinking, just going on. A computer screen is very visual. Then you start to look, and you start to think, and that's the dangerous part we want to get away from. Making music and performing live, it's not about looking that much anymore. It's about feeling, because sound is vibrations and it resonates inside of you and makes you feel in different ways. This key with this key makes this vibration. With the things that you still can touch, I think that's a good tip to start with.
Yeah, but there are controllers.
Yes, so a computer with a controller, that's a really good start.
I have experienced myself that when I have met people that are really one with what they're doing and they really express it and I love it, in times when I was maybe failing with my security, which I do very often, I wanted to feel that, what they felt. It looked so great. And then I was looking, what are they doing to feel this? Ah, this is the answer. Okay, let's try that. But I really feel that what you do, the tool you're using or the situation you happen to be in is never the answer. It's how you let it be somehow. Like we love analog stuff, but that's not essential. You can be in the flow in a pure digital setup and an environment, and that's perfect. And you should try different things, but my biggest advice is to have the step of choosing, setting up the frame, the foundation to stand on, and then take the next step. Let yourself be satisfied. Don't think if you have the right drum machine or not. Use the drum machine you have, or the software instrument you use, and play with it. Just do it. I very rarely feel freedom when I try to get endless opportunities. But when I limit the opportunities and I accept that, I can get free with kind of not caring. Freedom is not to do whatever you want, but to be free doing what you do.